Bonjour everyone and welcome back to my channel, The Waves of Your Soul. Today's video is what I think I've called hashtag good mood decks. I'm starting a new tag. I felt like it. I woke up, the world is still a hot bin, trash, garbage can on fire. And so I need some good mood decks. I need to look at stuff that makes me happy, that makes me feel better, that makes me feel more joyous, more energized, more vibrant. Because yeah, the world is just, every day we wake up, the world seems to be going more and more to and I thought it would be a fun tag to create. Maybe it's been done before, I don't know. If you want to do VR, you can use the hashtag good mood decks. I think I'm gonna go with that, where I'm just gonna be sharing with you decks that help me get back into a better mood, that help me make me happier, or they're kind of, imagine them being like a shot of vitamin C, right? They're just the embodiment of reason to live juice, right? So you're having a down day, or you're having a meh day, or you're feeling overwhelmed or underwhelmed, or just 50 shades of whelmed. Those are the decks that would just make you feel happier, more vibrant, more energized, more joyful. We're not necessarily talking about decks that are hug decks, that are comforting and healing and that are going to make you feel held and seen. For me, they're not quite the same, although you might have decks that you feel are in the same category for both. Here, really, I want to talk about decks that put me in a good mood. They don't necessarily heal me, they don't necessarily make me feel seen or comforted, they don't necessarily hug me in any way, they just make me feel happy. If you want to share your good mood decks, you can do a VR, use the hashtag good mood decks. It would be a joy for me to watch, and it can be just fun for us to share the decks that make us happy. I'm sure it's going to be very different for everyone. You can share tarot, oracle, playing cards, whatever you want, how many you want, you do you boo. That's the vibe. So if it is your first time here, hello, my name is Marine. I'm a French tarot reader and a lover of everything tarot, oracle and self-empowerment related. I love talking on my channel about tarot and oracle decks. They're a huge passion of mine. They make me happy. Hashtag good mood decks. And I also love sharing empowering tarot reading on my channel, like tarot readings that are very geared around helping you to help yourself. That's my vibe. So if you'd like to see any of those things on your timeline, make sure to hit the subscribe button. You can find all of my social in the description box, my Instagram, TikTok, all of that. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave it a thumbs up or leave me a comment. I love chatting with you in the comments. And so without further ado, let's get into it for my good mood decks. Tag is really tailored around showing you decks, tarot and oracle, that when I look at them, instantly I feel better, happier. They're like your favorite song that suddenly plays on the radio. You just want to have a little boogie, a shot of happiness, a shot of joy, a shot of vibrancy and energy. So when I was thinking about doing this deck, the very first deck that came to mind in terms of like, what is a tarot deck that when I feel a little bit meh, or when I need to like get back into feeling energized and happy, what is kind of a deck that I would go to? Definitely I have the Groovy Weight Tarot. So this is my tarot collectible. It didn't come in a pouch when I bought it, so my lovely friend Jen made me a pouch, which is gorgeous. I'm obsessed. Thank you, Jen, if you're watching. Tarot collectibles, they do a lot of like RWS clones, but with lots of different themes. We have Winter Weight and Zombie Weight, and like this is the Groovy Weight. There's just lots of different kind of clones of the RWS, and I have the Groovy Weight because I love color, and you'll see something that's definitely recurrent in my good mood decks is that for me, color definitely helps to put me in a good mood. It energizes me, it makes me feel better, it makes me feel more confident. And so this deck, the colorfulness of it, that's probably not even English, but here we go. We're going for it. The rainbows and the cosmic vibes and the 60s 70s vibe, they just make me really happy. When I want to do a tarot reading and I need those good moods vibes, this is it. Let's move on to one of the most recent acquisitions in my tarot library. I've talked about it in my cute adorable decks video, which I've posted very recently. The Cookie Story Tarot by Destiny. Destiny is a company based in Thailand, I believe. They have a lot of cute tarot decks out and they have an Etsy shop, but the shipping price is a little bit much for people who live in Europe. Thankfully, when I wanted this, there was a French tarot reader, tarot teacher, etc. who was organizing group buys. I will leave her Instagram below for all of you, my French people. She regularly does like organizes group buys from this particular company, and you save a lot of money from shipping because when we buy it from like 100 of us, you'll save at least like 50 euros or something. So anyway, all of that to say, Cookie Story Tarot, it's a super cute tarot deck. Look at it, there is pink edging, so that already is good mood, right? I can't see that and be a sad bitch, there's no way. As the title of the deck suggests, Cookie World, where cookie people live their best life. And if that wasn't enough, those cookie people are actually pop culture inspired. Pop culture and even sometimes real history inspired. So here we have the Queen of England. Here we have, for example, the characters from Inside Out, the Pixar movie, all the different emotions. So I haven't been able yet to recognize all of the pop culture references in the deck. And like I said, when I got the deck, it didn't come with a guidebook. You might be able to get a PDF, I'm not sure, I'd have to do my own research. This one we recognize, right? Cruella de Vil. But I'm having fun trying to like figure out who those characters are. But definitely in terms of using the deck, come on, we know who this is. But in terms of using the deck, without the pop culture reference, just for the cute factor of it all, just for the fact that it's a cookie world, just for the fact that it's like full of dessert, which, come on, that makes me happy alone. I've got a super sweet tooth, I'm a Taurus moon, so food is my love language, honestly, and it's already brought me a lot of joy. And with everything going on in the world right now, it's a nice friend. It's just a nice friend. It's like a nice reminder that tarot doesn't always have to be super serious, and yet it reads really well. Like, it's still a tarot deck, it will still deliver the truth when you need to hear it, but it's just that cute sweet vibe. Makes me happy. On to an oracle deck that always makes me feel in a better mood. That it's always like, again, I think you see the theme here is color. This is a French version of, I think in English you call this Animal Cane Oracle. In French it's called l'Oracle du règne animal. This is a mass market deck. I forgot to say the previous one was indie and the one before that was indie as well. So this is a mass market. I've got the French edition, but in English it's exactly the same cards. I think the guidebook is very similar. Maybe you guys have colored one, we don't, but I don't really care about that. But awesome guidebook, awesome animal oracle, and it's just super colorful and beautiful. Like, look at those backings, so gorgeous. And this is an animal deck, as the title would suggest. But what really for me makes this like especially happy and good moods vibes are the colors, those borders, the artwork, the fact that it's like one animal and one keyword, so you don't have to use the guidebook if you don't want to, and yet the guidebook is really well written. It's about a page and a half for each animal. You get like a personal development / spiritual message, but you also get a little bit about the animal, like why is this animal representing this particular keyword, like what is it about their sleeping habit or hunting habit or feeding habit that makes them the perfect representation of this particular keyword. And look at this. Why is my deck all upside down? I swear to God, this only happens when I'm trying to film. I blame the tarot gnomes that literally come into my deck boxes when I'm not looking, and they shuffle my decks all wrong, so that by the time I'm ready to film, it's fucked up. They're like distant cousins from the sock gnomes who steal a sock every time you do a wash. I'm convinced there's tarot gnomes too who just come and mess up your cards for when you're about to film a video. The fact that it's been translated in French, I'm really happy, because sometimes, look, I love speaking English. I lived in England for almost 10 years, and speaking English, I don't even really have to try anymore. Like, I dream in English, etc. It's just second nature for me now. But when I'm super tired, it is nice to have some decks I enjoy in French, my first language, because it's just that little bit easier for my brain sometimes. It's just like, imagine you have a bike and you know how to bike, so you don't mind using a normal bike. But if you have an electric bike, it's that little bit easier, right? So French decks are my electric bikes, and English decks are just regular bikes. I guess that's the metaphor we're going with. I'm sorry if I'm not making much sense. I am highly caffeinated, so we're just gonna have to roll with it. Let's continue. Oracle deck, another deck in my good mood decks. This deck makes me so happy. This is an indie deck from a really cool creator that is based, I believe she's based in New Zealand, and the name of her shop is called Hand Me That Pencil. I've got a couple of decks from her, and I just love this creator. She will send you decks from New Zealand, shrink wrapped, so that it's cheaper to send. It's just awesome. She has tarot decks, oracle decks. I'll leave the link to her website below. I just really enjoy what she's doing. This particular deck is like an affirmation deck that she created, and it's called Tiny Rituals. Can you see that? Wait, my camera is being a prick. Tiny Rituals, ways to love yourself better. And already it's like, oh, thank you. Hashtag good mood decks, right? It's just one card, one sentence, and that's it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to rake your mind for ages. You don't have to give yourself a headache trying to figure out what it's trying to tell you. There's no guidebook. Although I think there might be a free PDF that you can download on her website. She actually has a newsletter where she provides lots of free content, tarot prompts and stuff. It's really cool. Just check out her Instagram and her Etsy and stuff. But I love this little affirmation deck. It makes me happy. Such good sentences like defend your needs with this like witch woman. Yes, come on, I'm here for this. Love the self you are. And I love the different bodies in this deck because we see all sorts. We see very muscular type, which we don't always see in oracle decks, right? We see bigger, curvier bodies, we see slimmer bodies, we see different skin tones. Like, I just love everything about this deck. The representation for me makes it very relatable. Give your body comfort, and it's someone wearing a onesie with their little cute bunny. Like, yes, come on, wear poise just like a gown. Protect your energy. Joy can be found simply. Like, how beautiful is that? So this deck, absolutely, this is one of my favorite cards. Embrace moments of joy. It's okay to want something new. Oh, it's just gorgeous. And it's also great for wrapping up readings. When I do pick a card readings, I use this one a lot. When I do readings from my friends, I use this one a lot to wrap up a reading, to get a message. Everyone who have used this deck for, they love it because it's just straight to the point, simple, goes with everything. Okay, let's move on. Another tarot deck that every time I use it puts me in a better mood, in a happier mood, in a more energized mood, is the Kitty Kahane Tarot. This is a mass market deck. I have the German edition, but now they've actually released it English mass market as well. So if you want, I think you can find this in English now. It comes with a really cool guidebook that Google Translate helped me to get into, and there's some really good info here, especially in terms of spreads. There's a ton of really good spreads. Here are the backs, which already are like giving me life. And this is just a super kooky, vibrant, colorful, again, do you see the theme here of color? Colorful, vibrant, a bit strange kind of deck that always puts me in a good mood because it's just fab. It's like quirky. People are purple and pink and blue, and so it makes me feel a bit comfortable because I'm in this like strange world, and it's giving me the vibe of like come as you are, you know, like everyone is welcome. It's also full of humor, this deck. It's really funny. Look at God handing the light bulb for the magician to do its thing. That's great, right? Like, this deck is a bit bonkers, to be honest, but it's bonkers in the best way possible, because for me, being bonkers and quirky is like actually the best compliment. And this is super fun, this is super colorful. It reads really well though, like just the fact that just because it's fun and a bit different, don't let it fool you. It's actually really good reader. There's lots of little details there that will make you look at the cards differently. It's full of humor, and it's a really interesting deck, and every time I use it I'm happy. It might be one of my favorite Hierophants ever, because look at that. That's the kind of Hierophant I want to get behind. The Hierophant is my birth card, so I'm always on the lookout for a Hierophant that is not too either boring or slightly threatening. So I enjoy this one a lot. I love how this Queen of Cups is literally dissolving into water. Talk about your emotions literally pouring out here. Her dress is made of water. I love that. So it's just a great deck. Like, it's super quirky, funky, and full of interesting little notes. Here the mountains have heads, but you can make so much out of that. And here the Eight of Cups is actually still carrying one, so that would actually change the way you read at the card, right? Normally we leave the cups behind. This time he's still holding on to it, so maybe you're not quite ready to leave something behind, or maybe you've not quite closed that chapter yet. There's just a lot to get into. Okay, let's move on to an oracle deck, mass market oracle deck called Whispers of the Ocean Oracle Cards by Angela Hartfield. The artwork is by Ekaterina Golovanova. This makes me happy, and this gives me good mood vibes because, well, look, I even put a little seashell here that I picked up from the island I live on. Here are the backs, by the way. If you don't know, I live on a tropical island right now. This is actually where I spend a lot of like my childhood, and I'm back here for a bit. Everything that you see on these cards are things that, or things, animals I should say, probably you could see on the coast of where I live right now, Reunion Island. We have beautiful life. There's like a lagoon where you can go snorkeling, and there's also like deep end water with like whales and dolphins. And so this is just for me the epitome of everything I love about here where I live. I mean, my name is Marine. I love the ocean. The name of my channel is The Waves of Your Soul. It's very cliche, but what can I say? I love the ocean, and the ocean brings me a lot of healing, and this deck is everything that you can find in the ocean. So, and actually everything that I could see very easily if I was to go in the ocean and go snorkeling. It resonates with my childhood, and it resonates with my environment right now. Not this, because we don't have those, obviously. The water is much warmer, but any kind of like tropical fish, you know, like these ones, we could find very easily. Just 2 minutes, put in your snorkeling gear, and it's just fabulous. It's, again, can you notice the colors? I love the idea that you pick a card, you have the title and the message. I sometimes just like to pick a card, get my message, and move on with my day, and this is perfect for that. It's a joy. Very quick mention, because I feel like I show this deck to absolutely every single one of my videos. If there was such a thing as a top 3, I think this would be it. The Stunning Tarot by Yona Sayas. I have the first edition, and this is my deck for everything. This is a good mood deck, this is a shadow deck, this is a healing deck, this is an everything deck. So I don't want to talk about it too much because I literally talk about it all the time, but I'll show you a few cards anyway. This is an indie deck. You can get not the exact same version now. I think she's on her 3rd edition, so the cards backing are different. I think she changed a couple of cards, but overall it's the same vibe, which is like limited color palette, 4 suits for 4 different fantasy world. We have witches, we have 1000 Nights vibe, we have Egyptian mythology, and we have mermaids, and I'm obsessed with everything about this deck. I'm obsessed about the fantasy feel, I'm obsessed about the artwork, I'm obsessed about the limited color palette. Everything about this deck is just, it gives me life. This is actually one that for me fits many different categories, but I had to mention it because it's just an all-time favorite, and it definitely for me is a good mood deck, because if I'm feeling down and I need like a kind of a shot of a good vibe, this is gonna give it to me. Like, come on, look at that. That's just, oh, that just makes me smile. It's beautiful. So yeah, the Stunning Tarot by Yona Sayas forever is gonna be a favorite. Okay, let's move on. One of my all-time favorites. This is Absolute Affirmations by Crystal Banner. I love Crystal Banner as a creator. She is super inspiring, super creative, and she has a few decks out, but actually this is the indie version of a deck that is now mass market. Hay House picked up this deck. I'm super happy for Crystal. Hay House picked up this deck, and now you can find it mass market. It's still called Absolute Affirmation, but the box is different, and I think the format is different as the cards are a bit squarer. But like I said, I have the indie version, so I don't know if you can still get this on her own website, but she has other indie decks out, like oracle decks and tarot decks. Her company is called Kaleidadope, and she has the Kaleidadope Tarot, which I really want. But if you like this deck, like I said, now it's mass market and even easier to get. And so, like the title, it says Absolute Affirmation. This is just one really cool modern kind of vibes Crystal's work is always linked to pop culture and modern day vibes, so that's something you should know. And I super resonate with that because we live in 2022. Like, we need things that are going to be helping us to, yes, be spiritual, and yes, be inspiring, and yes, help us to like elevate and connect with our souls, etc. But we're still living a human experience in a human body in a world full of post-it notes and iPhone and batteries. And so the mix of modern vibes with spiritual kind of essence is to me super powerful, and I love this deck. Again, it's one of those that every time I need a boost, it always works. It's a good mood deck for sure, always puts me in a good mood. My friends, again, they love this deck. Every time I pull a card, it always resonates. It can be great for a daily card pull. It can be great to finish off a reading. It can be great to even start a reading and then you pull some cards like linked to this theme here. I am dope. You are a unique individual, and that originality makes you extremely dope. You have a purpose and a path that is vital and tailored specifically for you. Remember to recognize yourself as special, necessary, and dope as hell. Isn't that great? You can't not smile when you get a card like that a day, right? Okay, let's move on to a tarot deck that honestly, I don't know how and where you can get this, because this was a gift. But I think this might be called Tarot of the Pirates or Pirates Tarot, but I have the edition that again was gifted that I think might be Russian. So this is what the box looks like. I love this deck. Oh my god, this is a vibe, by the way. Look at the backing with this like piece of fabric here. I'm kind of obsessed. This is like my life right there. Palm trees, pirates, the ocean. Yes, I'm here for it. So like I said, this was a gift from a friend because I love pirates. I know that. Having grown up part of my childhood on a tropical island and being back on it now, pirate stories have always been very much part of what made my child self like fascinated. I loved pirate stories. Here there's a lot of pirate stories in Règne and the Indian Ocean in general. There's a lot of treasures that have still not been found, that are supposedly rumored to be in Règne or Mauritius or the Seychelles. There was a whole like republic of pirates that was settling in Madagascar, that was there all during the time of the spice trades from India and etc. Like, there's just a lot of history here linked to pirates, not just here but the whole of the Indian Ocean islands like Mauritius, Madagascar, the Seychelles. And there's a lot of treasures that have never been found. There's a lot of text and even like treasure maps and anagrams and like secret texts that are supposedly linked to pirates' treasures that people are still now trying to decipher. Maybe I'll do a special video about that, I'm not sure, we'll see. But it's something that fascinates me, and so this deck makes me happy because it's about pirates. There's something about this deck that gives me the ruggedness, the not giving a shit vibes that pirates give me. Creating your own destiny, this idea of standing on your own, this idea of exploring and risking your life and live fast, die young, which is very pirate. And because I love, like I said, pirate stories, and it's very much part of what my inner child like loves, this deck makes me happy. And it's just a good time, honestly. It's a good time. Like, there's pirates and turtles and like deserted islands, what's not to love? So this one definitely makes me happy. It's very personal though. Again, like, this is why I'm excited to see what people choose in their good mood decks, because everyone is going to be different. This speaks to me because I grew up on a tropical island, because now I'm back here, because there's a lot of treasure story here, and so that's gonna be again different for everyone. Let's move on to a indie oracle deck. This was gifted to me by my lovely friend Tanya for my birthday last year, I think, or the year before, I can't remember. No, the year before, I think. This is Fantastic Beings mini deck by Avec la Vie. Avec la Vie is the name of the shop, so they sell their decks on Etsy, and I think there's other resellers like indie decks shop that sell their stuff as well, and you can get their decks in a normal version or in mini version. I think they have plant deck, they have animal deck, and they have this Fantastic Being one, and I have the mini version that my friend picked, and I'm obsessed. I love this deck. It makes me super happy. It has a little pamphlet, which is cool, and then the way it's set up is that you have a painting of a fantastical being. Sometimes it's actually real animals, sometimes it's mythical creatures, and then at the back you have the name of what it is. So in this case it is an actual animal that exists. You have a keyword and you have a text, and each text that they do has a different theme. So the fantastic beings are dedicated to manifestation, and so all the messages are around manifesting what you want, like creating the life you desire. So it's very empowering messages, very affirmative, and very good at giving you good mood vibes. Like when I need a boost, when I need an energy boost, when I'm feeling a bit meh and I forgot that I'm a bad bitch, I can go to this deck and it's gonna remind me I'm powerful, I've got this, I've got more tools in my toolbox than I think I do, I can do this, and if I need to rest, I can rest, but it's just gonna affirm me, make me feel better, empower me, and give me those good vibes. And so I love this deck. I love the fact that you don't necessarily know what you're looking at as well, which is cool. Like this is a Sphinx, for example, but you just see like a part of it. And again, you can pause here if you want to see kind of like how it reads, because I feel like when people are interested in getting a deck, sometimes it's important to know how it reads. So for example, if you want to know what the messages say, you can do a pause here. But I love this deck so much. It makes me so happy. The size, it's small, it's tiny, it is not laminated, and it is printed on this like drawing paper, almost like watercolor paper. So the ASMR feel is beyond. It's the bomb.com, because it feels like a whole experience. The tactile experience, the sound of shuffling is awesome, because like I said, there's no lamination, it's pure paper, it's super soft, and oh, this is joy right there. Oh, what did we get? Groovy. Oh my god, this has got to be the hardest word to say I've ever seen in the English language. How do you even say that? Groovy. I don't know. I literally send help. Let's move on to a mass market deck that I adore, and that definitely is for me part of my good mood decks. This is a Morgan's Tarot, printed by US Game. It's from the 70s. My copy is not from the 70s, but the deck originally was from the 70s, and even though it was called Morgan's Tarot, this is an oracle deck, and this is just pure joy. Pure unfiltered joy. So here are the backs. They say love is God, and this is the craziest, most bonkers, quirkiest oracle deck you will ever see in your life, and everyone needs this, even if it's just to remember to have a laugh, and that not everything has to be so serious. And I think sometimes when I need a good mood boost, when I need to feel happier and more energized and all of that, it's super important to have a laugh. For me anyway, I really need that sometimes, to remind myself that it's not that deep, to remind myself to not take myself too seriously. Even when I'm going through some shitty times, it's important to have a perspective, and this deck is just like, look at that, forget it, this is made up. Some of the cards are super on point and you straight away understand what you're looking at. Some of them are just completely crazy, like this duck wacky-doo. You're like, what the hell am I looking at? I don't know, maybe we're looking at our own buttholes a little bit too much. That's probably what it is. It's actually really useful in triggering your intuition and in making you see things differently, and in allowing you to just take things a little bit lighter. I find this deck quite empowering as well, and for me this is absolutely Age of Aquarius vibes. I've said it before, when it comes to this deck, I'm convinced the people who made this deck probably took a ton of mushroom, went on a trip, they spoke to like the highest consciousness of the universe, they came back, they drew it, and they were like, wow, what happened? I don't know, we forgot everything that happened, but we made this deck. And this might be my favorite card. Do not meddle in the affairs of wizards, for they are subtle and quick to anger. And ain't that the truth? Let's move on to another mass market deck. This time it's an oracle deck, and come on, we had to have a French deck. If you've been on my channel, you know I need to at least rep the French deck at least once. So this is called L'Oracle à Haute Vibration by Jenna Blossoms. It's illustrated by Clémentine Rocheron. This is mass market. You can find it on Amazon.fr or any kind of website that sells mass market French decks. And this retails for 24.90, so 25 euros. And this is literally translated to the Oracle of High Vibrations. So, you know, it's gonna be helping you to be in a better mood. Even though I don't really always vibe with this idea of like high vibration, blah blah blah, this gets me because of the artwork, the color, and it's just like, just a nice, cute, fun deck. So the guidebook looks like this. For each card you get a message, you get a little ritual, and then you get keywords, which I think is really cool. And the backs are really beautiful. I love that. And the edging is also really cute, like this peach moment. These cards are supposed to be representing things or ideas or concepts that you can draw power from when you need to elevate yourself, when you need to feel better, when you need to feel happier and more joyous. And there's actually kind of like different cards. Some of the cards look like this. There's like, I think maybe 7 of them, 7 or 8, which looks like abstract art, and they are like higher kind of themes, higher concepts linked to certain emotion or certain ideas. So here we have strength and equilibrium, for example, and then the rest of the deck looks like illustrated with a keyword. So here it says you need some newness in your life. Here is one of those main like major arcana types card with the faith card. But here we have listen to your intuition, positive emotion, spiritual practice, find meaning again. Main card, major arcana type vibes, we have love and peace. Regular type cards we have nourish your soul, put words on your feelings, start again, like scratch it and start again. Wish yourself the best, which I love this card so much. Smile to life, and look at that, that's cute. Take action. Change the way you look at things. Open your heart. Be of service, another one of my favorite cards. Abundance is calling you, and what's cool about this one is that we have abundance, but the keywords are safety, like reason for being, growth, time, freedom, love. So abundance doesn't have to be money, it can be all of those other things as well. Health, for example. And I like to look at abundance not just as money, but as maybe free time and freedom and health. Awaken your potential. So as you can see, the vibe is definitely cute, it's joyous, it's you pull a card and it's going to remind you of something you can do to feel better, to feel happier, to put you in a better mood, which is everything that this tag is about. A deck you want to use when you want to be in a better mood, when you want to like snap yourself out of it, when you want to just try and like, yeah, just feel a little bit better. Not necessarily again with a healing deck or a hug deck that's gonna make you feel comforted, but just a deck that's gonna give you that boost, right? That's gonna give you that little fire in your belly kind of vibe, like remind yourself that you can do this, or just shot of vitamin C kind of vibe. And this one is definitely for me part of this category. It's quickly mentioned an out of print deck because it's out of print, so I don't want to create FOMO, but I want to show it because it's definitely part of the decks that make me happy. We have the Copper Rabbit illustration by Copper Rabbit Illustration. This was actually a deck that was created after this particular artist did Inktober. So you know, in October there's this challenge that artists do, which is called Inktober, and you get a prompt a day and they do a drawing for a month, and this particular artist created a deck out of the Inktober challenge from 2019, I think. So this particular deck doesn't exist anymore, it's out of print, but this particular artist has another deck out, so check out their work. She has prints and everything, so still definitely check out what she does, because I think she's an amazing talented artist. All about fairy tales vibes, like as you can see, I think the theme of that particular Inktober challenge must have been fairy tales, because we have wolves and cabin and dark forest and witches and things like that. And this deck makes me so happy because I just love the art style. Like, I'm in love with this particular artist art style. To me it's so gorgeous, it's what my dreams are made of. It speaks to my soul, and I just love this deck so much. It makes me so happy, even though, as you can see, a lot of the cards might not necessarily be happy cards or be cards that you think would put you in a good mood. It just really, for me, this is like, I can't explain it, it's a soul connection. It's like I see this card in a spread and or I pair it with a tarot deck or something, and I exactly know what's going on. It's like it really speaks to me so well, and so every time I use it, it makes me happy because I'm obsessed with this artwork and I'm obsessed with this deck, and I'm obsessed with the vibe, like dragons and witches and dark forests and fairy tale. Like, yes, I'm so here for it. So unfortunately this is not out of print, but I wanted to share it because it's still part of my good mood decks, for sure. I couldn't see myself without it. Okay, let's move on to a deck that my friends got me for my birthday. I've not had it that long, but it definitely makes me super happy. It's a mass market deck and it's called the Tarot del Dios de los Tres. So this is a Spanish deck. I believe the creator is Spanish. This is by Fournier. So it's mass market, but the artist El Dios de los Tres is Spanish. I think they're like tattoo artists or something, from what I had a look. So the cards are quite small. I love the size actually. It's really nice. It's that Fournier cardstock, so it's super easy to shuffle. It's really affordable. You can find this deck for quite cheap. All of Fournier decks are really affordable. And this is, let me zoom you in because there's a lot. This is again explosion of color, explosion of some pop culture references, crazy vibes, colorful vibes, fire, in your face, not subtle at all. Super vibrant, full of energy, full of stuff, like an explosion of sound and colors and things, and it just makes me super happy. I love the vibe of this deck, and like I said, my friends got it for me, so that makes me extra happy, because it has that association with it. It is super colorful. It's a pip deck, and I don't necessarily tend to go for pip decks. I prefer illustrated cards myself, but what I love about this one is that it's illustrated pips, or as Sylvain would call it, pips with feelings. So it's not boring. Like the Three of Swords, you have your three swords, but you know, you've got a monkey whose like head is being pierced. Why not? You have butterfly, and you have scarabs. Like, there's a lot you can get out of this. Even if you just read it with a numerical association, you can get a lot out of it because it's not boring. Look at this Eight of Swords. The horse has his head blindfolded, so you still can refer back to that RWS meaning if you are still not super comfortable with pips. And like I said, I can read pips. It's just not a type of deck normally that I necessarily enjoy it. I have to be in a certain mood for it, but this one I love because it's not really a pip. It is a pip deck, but it's just like a crazy, full of life, vibrant pip deck, and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with this deck. I think it's super cool. I think it's quite irreverent a little bit. There's like some genitalia sometimes, and there's like just a lot of tongue-in-cheek. So I really like this deck, and it makes me super happy. Look at this tower card. It's just like wow. With the dices here, such a nice touch. So yeah, definitely this deck makes me happy. Look at this Justice card with Anubis. Okay, I'm gonna stop showing you every single card, but I'm like really obsessed with this deck right now because I've not had it for very long. So, and I'm currently using it, and it's giving me everything I need. Okay, we have 2 decks left, and then that's it. That will be us done. We'll finish with a bang. That's what he said. So let's move on with Fortune Queens. This is an indie tarot deck by Juanjo Cristiani, who on Instagram goes by @enjoymycake. And this is a good mood deck because this is a deck that is inspired by RuPaul's Drag Race, which is my favorite TV show ever. I love Drag Race. My friends and I love Drag Race. We watched every season. When I lived in London, we would have viewing parties where we would watch it together. And it's just like, it's a good vibe. Like if you're feeling like shit, watch an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, whatever season, whatever episode, I don't care. There's so many now. I watch all of them. There's like a Spanish version, there's a Canadian version, there's a Thai version, there's a Holland version, like the French version is just starting now. There are so many. So you have a choice, and it's just a competition where drag queens compete to be the best drag queens. Here's a box, by the way, which is fabulous. And like I said, it's a drag queen competition. So they compete to be the best sewer, so they have to design amazing outfits. They have acting challenges, they have singing challenges, lip sync challenges. They have to be funny and just amazing and fabulous. And drag queens make me super happy. I've got a lot of fond memories of my friends watching RuPaul's Drag Race and going to drag shows in London and stuff like that. And so this deck just makes me happy because it's giving me that drag queen vibes, which is about being fabulous, being yourself, being fully authentic, not giving a shit about what other people say, embracing your own nature, embracing your authenticity, and just being all around fabulous. Every time I use this deck, it makes me happy. And when I need a good mood vibe, I will go for this tarot deck. This is very summer, but summer in the sense of like energy and full power and like being completely okay with being who you are and being unapologetically yourself. This is the vibe of this deck. And I'm obsessed. I think it's fabulous. Of course, you have to enjoy this particular TV show to enjoy this deck, otherwise you won't really know who the queens are, although it's like RWS, you know, inspired, so it's still very easy to read. But for me, it's personal, and that's why I want to see what everyone chooses. Drag queens make me happy, and so a drag queen deck is gonna make me happy and is gonna be part of my good mood decks. And the guidebook is actually cute because it tells you like each card, the episode, and the queens that are referenced, and even the moment or the look, which I think is super cool. If you want to go in a YouTube hole and watch like best lip sync performance on RuPaul or something, which I definitely have done when I've had bad days, you can do that with your tarot deck next to you, and it's super fun. Public service announcement: if you're feeling some type of way that's not very good and you've never watched RuPaul's Drag Race, try and watch an episode. Start with one season and watch episode 1, and then you'll see. Thank me later, but I think you're gonna remember how badass you are and how magical the world can be. Okay, like I was saying earlier, let's finish with a bang. We have, for my last good mood deck, one of the most recent decks I own. I've got it since the beginning of the month of June, and this is a Talisman Tarot by Tara Koshran. I'm not sure how you say that. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, probably am. This is an indie tarot deck, and oh my god, I am obsessed in an unhealthy way. Like, if this was a person, this would be someone I have a crush on, in a way where it's just like you dress up really nice even if you're just gonna see them 2 seconds in the elevator, and then you think about that 2 seconds in the elevator all day long, and you've dressed up nice just in case you see them in the elevator. That's that deck if it was a person and it was my crush. You know, that kind of obsessive crushing? That's it. That's the moment I'm having with this deck right now. So this is the Talisman Tarot. It's an indie deck. I will say it is not cheap, but this was a gift, very generous gift from a friend, because I helped her out with her business, and she knew I wanted this deck so bad. But I will say that I know it's not cheap, so that's something to keep in mind. The little guidebook it comes with is actually straight to the point. So we have some titles that are more like Golden Dawn titles, we have some keywords, some astrological reference, but what really made me fall in love with this is the deck itself. So here are the backs, and it's a collage style deck. It's actually quite big. This is everything that my heart needed, and I didn't know I needed it to make me happy. Every single card makes me smile. Like, this makes me want to teleport in the American desert and listen to Kate Bush with my windows rolled down and the sun is setting and I'm living my best like desert road trip life. You know the vibe. That's the vibe. Or this is like putting your favorite red lipstick and going dancing with your girlfriends until your feet hurt. Yeah, that's the vibe. There's a couple of cards that are extra. There's an extra moon card and an extra sun card which have the title on it. I've just left them in. Look at this Queen of Swords. Is this Lana Del Rey? I think it might be, and if it is, this is my favorite Queen of Swords ever because I'm obsessed with this Lana Del Rey sad summer girl vibe, chopping the head of her lost lover. Yes, girl. He probably cheated on you anyway. oh, it's so opulent and decadent and gorgeous, and it makes me so happy to look at because it's a feast for the eyes. It's just like, look at this world card. It's oh, I have no words. I'm literally, when I see, I'm losing my words because I'm just so obsessed with this deck. This is my full-on crush right now. I can't talk about it. I'm ridiculous. Am I even making sense? I don't know. At this point, I'm just like showing you the deck so you can fully appreciate it. Look at this Ten of Cups. It looks so good in a spread. It reads really well. It is super poetic. Full on fire, Queen of Wands energy as well. It's so fiery, so passionate. I've been obsessively using it all month of June, and because it's like collage style and there's so much detail, you always get something different from the card. It pairs beautifully with some of my favorite oracle cards, like the Begin Oracle, which if you've been watching my channel you know is one of my favorite oracle decks. The Sacred Destiny Oracle as well looks so good with this. Is absolutely giving me all the life juice I need right now. And I wanted to mention it, the Talisman Tarot. So my friends, this is it. These are all of my hashtag good mood decks. I'm such a dork for doing hashtag with my fingers. I am so sorry. I'm embarrassing my own self, don't worry. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Don't hesitate to let me know in the comments what your favorite like good mood decks are. Decks that make you happy, decks that put you in a good mood. Or if you want to do a VR, then please do. You can use a hashtag. I would love to see it. Tag me though, because I'm kind of shy at checking hashtags, so don't hesitate to tag me in your video or your Instagram post or TikTok videos or anything like that, because at least this way I'll be sure to see it and I would love to check it out. Thank you so much if you've made it this far. I hope you're all hanging on there. I hope that you're being kind to yourself, and until my next video, I'm sending you so much good vibes and keep navigating the waves of your soul. Bye!